Hello, this is Zena. I'm back to read Tiger Eyes by Judy Blume. We're going to start off at chapter 8. A week later, we are sitting around the dinner table when I asked Betsy if I can borrow her bicycle tomorrow. I've seen two of them in the garage, each labeled Chronic with their address, phone number, and social security numbers engraved across the bar. It's like is that a brand? Is that like a real big brand? Cause I mean, it's got to be. You put your social security number on that bitch. Certainly, Bitsy says. Oh, I remember I was playing this game before. Certainly, Bitsy says. As long as you wear a helmet. A helmet, I ask. Yes, you can borrow mine. She finishes her third cup of coffee and wipes her mouth with a napkin. But I ride all the time in Atlantic City, I tell her, and I never wear a helmet. That's the rule, Bitsy says as she stands up and stacks our plate. Girl, y'all was driving like basically like this. I will put on the helmet too, to be honest with you. I'm still using that web browser. Chronic. Kronick. Cause I don't think they mean chronic like the 420 blaze it. Bicycle, 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 bicycle. Go. Chronic racing. Maybe they went out of business. I see a chronic racing. Okay, let's see. Did people put their social security number on their bicycle back in the 80s? Let's see if people are doing that shit. Are people doing that shit now? Let's see. Hey, this is someone already asked this on Reddit. This was 3 years ago. Okay. Yeah, I can see you putting your student ID number on it. Like, still people in your business, but your social security number? Somebody got a tech bro up in my social security business now. What the fuck? Many of us were taught that in the armed forces. Your social security number was your number. Everything was tied to your social security number. I'm just quiet as a church mouse. Uh, it's a real thing. I mean, different generations. Different generations. All right, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. That's the rule, Bitsy says as she stands up and stacks our plates. Really, I say? You're serious? Of course, I know that she is serious, but I have this idea that by questioning her, I can make her change her mind. She sounds like a man. You bet I'm serious, she says. So much for my idea. Okay, I'll wear the helmet. I will do anything to have some time to myself, some time alone to think, to spiral. I don't think she's gonna spiral. I don't remember. We'll be leaving for Cochode Lake. Cock, Cockity Lake. I don't know. At 10:30. Just be sure you're back by then. Coquiti Lake is number one on tomorrow's agenda. Walter has taken the week off so that he can show us the sights. So far, we have visited Camel Rock, Bandelier National Monument, 3 Indian Pueblos, Taos, and the D.H. Lawrence Ranch. Okay. All right. How do you pronounce Cochiti Lake Row? We don't want the pronouns of the fucking lake. Well, if the lake got pronouns, then probably just the language difference. Like in Spanish, they said a chair can be a girl. Cochiti Lake.
Cochiti Lake, NM.
I was right. Cochiti. I was right. But I don't think I can make it through another day of sightseeing with the family. This is a touchy subject, and I have to approach it carefully. So I clear my throat and say, the truth is, I'd really like to beg off tomorrow. That is, if you don't mind. I look around the table for reactions. I can't tell what anyone is thinking, so I continue. I just like to ride around on your bicycle and maybe sunbathe on the deck. It is important that I don't insult them. They've been nice, but I'm sick of listening to Walter's lectures on everything from Black Mesa to black pottery, from solar energy to nuclear energy. He talks as if he's an expert on every subject, and who knows, maybe he is. Solar energy is great. Bitsy speaks first. Well, she says carefully, rest and relaxation is what we were planning for next week when Walter goes back to the lab. But that's really what I need. Now, I say firmly, surprising myself. What do you think, Walter? Bitsy asks. Who's Walter? He doesn't know what she needs. She barely knows what she needs. But I know Walter don't. Walter, why don't you ask her mother? I don't know. Walter mulls it over as if world security is at stake. Hmm. He begins. I fidget with the buttons on my shirt and wait. I think it will be all right, he finally says, if Davy promises to be careful. 80s. 80s, 80s, 80s. Oh yes, I tell them I'll be very careful. Like going to rock climb without gear. I think that's what she does. I haven't read it in a while. Gwen, Bitsy says, looking down the table at Mom. Is it all right with you? What? Oh yes, fine. My mother says. I get the feeling she doesn't even know what we are talking about. She seems distracted. Her husband got shot 4 times in the chest. I think she deserves to be a little spaced out. And if doesn't come with us, I get the whole back seat of the Blazer to myself, right? Jason says. Wrong, Bitsy tells him. I'm going to sit in the back and tickle you all the way to Cochiti. No, Jason shrieks. They have this game where Bitsy threatens to tickle Jason, but she never does. Jason is wildly ticklish. He becomes hysterical if you just wiggle your fingers close to his body, hinting that he might be in for it. I once read an article that said tickling is a form of torture. I wonder if Betsy knows that. Her husband definitely told her that. Chapter 9. The next morning, I grab a piece of toast, go directly to the garage, and walk Betsy's bicycle out into the driveway in time to see Walter shoving his gun into the back of the Blazer. I am used to this by now. The gun automatically goes into the Blazer whenever the Walter leaves the hill. As soon as he returns, the gun is removed. I don't know where he keeps it in the house, and I don't want to know. Bye, Uncle Walter, I call. Remember, ride with the traffic, Walter tells me. That's a rule we observe on the hill. With the traffic, I repeat. See you later, Davy. You bet, I call as I pedal away. You bet is Walt and Betsy's favorite expression. Sometimes it means yes, sometimes it means you're welcome. Other times it means seems to be a substitute for okay. This time, this is the first time I have tried it. Well, I kind of sometimes use you bet like, shut the fuck up. As soon as I am out on Diamond Drive, I stop and take off the helmet, shoving it into the canvas bike bag. I shake out my hair, and then that's better. What they don't know won't hurt them. Something might hurt you if your head tumbles and splats, but hey. I ride up Diamond Drive, past the high school. Groups of kids are hanging out in the parking lot. I have forgotten that it is Friday, another school day. Which reminds me of how many classes I'm missing. 16 days. Still, 16 days at the beginning of the term isn't that bad. I bet I can catch up in a week if I want to. I guess. But her dad's dead, so yeah. I pedal harder and faster until my legs hurt. The pain begins in the backs of my calves and spreads up into my thighs. My shoulders ache, but I don't care. I've been numb for so long, the pain makes me feel alive again. I wish I could skip the whole school year. I bet I could keep up at home. I wish I never had to go back to school. What good does it do you in the long run? In this society, actually, it does you a lot. Knowledge is power. That sounds cliche, but it's true. I have trouble breathing, but not from hyperventilating, from the exercise, from the altitude. Everything is that much harder at 7,000. Excuse me. Everything is that much harder at 7,300 feet. Even breathing. Sweat tickles down my face, stinging in my eyes. It tickles down inside my t-shirt and along the backs of my knees. Oh, that should be irritating. It really do be irritating. But I keep pedaling past the Conoco station, past the golf course. Golf courses is golf courses is one of the evils of humanity. I pull off the road and lean the bicycle against the tree. I make my way through the woods until I come to a beautiful canyon. I am still amazed at the scenery here. I half expect to hear the hoofbeats in the distance and then to see a cowboy thundering into view, riding a slick black stallion. I sit on a rock at the very edge of the canyon, hugging my knees and looking down. The rock juts out and makes me feel I could fly up right off it. Let's hope she don't. Just jump. She doesn't. Spoiler alert. But she doesn't. How quickly everything can change, I think. One minute you're alive and the next you could be dead. There isn't any way to know if what's going to happen. If this rock comes loose, I'll fall. I think fall to the bottom of the canyon. Will I fall straight down, I wonder, or kind of float down gently? I think you'll hit a couple rocks on the way down, Miss Thing. I wonder, or kind of float gently. Either way, my head will smash open, my bones will break. How long will it be before I am found? Days, weeks, a month? Maybe I'll never be found. Then the buzzards will pick at my flesh until there is nothing left of me. Nothing but bones, broken bones. Sometimes some animals eat the bones too, so I shake that image from my mind and concentrate on the beauty of the canyon. I think about being at the bottom surrounded by it. I am tempted to climb down, but then I remember Betsy's story about the 14-year-old boy who was killed by a falling rock while he was climbing in the canyon, and about the woman who was tripped and fell, breaking her leg. By the time she was found, she was in shock and didn't make it. Man, and that guy who got his arm stuck. He drink it. You guys know the guy I'm talking about. They had a movie of it. I'm pretty sure Matthew McConaughey was the the main guy, the only guy in the movie. I'm like, Mitzi and Walter are full of stories about what might happen. They don't believe in taking chances. They will probably live to be 100. That don't sound like a bad thing, girl. I decide to climb down anyway. I don't know whether to go backwards or hanging onto the rocks or try walking down frontwards. I combine the two methods and get going. Down, down I climb, rock after rock, losing my footing every now and then, grabbing hold of a branch to steady myself. Down, down, traveling over the steepest inclines on my backside. Down, down. I don't know how long it takes me. Half an hour, an hour. I've left my watch at home, knowing that today there is no schedule to follow, that today is mine. Down, down into the bottom of the canyon. I look up now, surprised at how far I have come, and for a second I remember that I still have to climb back up, that I shouldn't go too far. Then I am distracted by a blizzard. Oh, I would have fell over. How perfectly he blends into his surroundings. I stand there, watch as he scampers from rock to rock. I stretch out on the rock myself, lifting my face to the sun, and the feeling comes over me. A feeling of wanting to share all of this with my father. I want to talk to him so badly I can't ache. I want to talk to him so badly I ache. I want to tell him how I climbed down into the canyon by myself, that I wasn't afraid. I want to tell him everything, everything that has happened since that night, everything I am thinking and feeling. And just tell him Pray. I wish I could feel his kiss on my forehead again, light and loving. I wish I could feel his hand smoothing my hair away from my face. His hands were so big, big enough to palm a basketball, big enough to hold Jason in the air. I remember how warm it felt to be near him, how safe. Suppose it's been all a mistake, I think. Suppose he's not dead at all. That when we get back to Atlantic City, he'll be there working in the store and he'll say, well, well, if it isn't Davy Wexler. And I'll say, in the flesh. And then we'll laugh. And I will never be too busy to go walking on the beach with him, or to help him in the store, or just sit quietly at his side again. Oh, Daddy, please don't be dead. Please. And then it hits me. The realization that I'll never be able to be with him again. Never. That he isn't coming back. You have to face reality, Davy. You have to accept the facts. I sit up and cup my hands around my mouth. Daddy, I call. I hear my echo around the canyon. Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. I don't think I ever called my father Daddy. I call him just Dad. And for a long while, even after I read this book, I kept hoping. Suppose he's not dead at all. And that when I get back, he'll ask where I was at. I stand up and call louder. Can you hear me, Daddy? Can you? Then I hear a voice answering mine, and it isn't my echo. Hey, hey down there, it calls. I spin around, trying to find it. Hey, are you alright? I catch a glimpse of him. He's standing halfway up the canyon, and is partly hidden by a tree. Who? Me? I ask, as if it might be someone else. Yeah, you, he calls. He begins to climb down. I shade my eyes from the sun and see that he's very short-footed. He's not slipping or sliding or falling the way I did. My stomach feels sour. This is crazy. He reaches the bottom quickly and it comes toward me. He is about 19 or 20, wearing faded cutoffs, hiking boots with wool socks sticking out over the tops, and no shirts. He has a knapsack on his back. He's maybe 5'9", with suntanned skin and dark hair. I thought you were in trouble, he says, the way you were calling. His eyes are dark brown. When I read this, I thought he was Native American, Black, or Mexican. And when I'm reading it now, it seems like he's just... And, you know, that's not bad. But when I was a kid, I very much read everything through the context of me. When I watched movies, TV shows, listened to music, read books, I always looked at it through the way of I'm the main character in the book. Like, And so when they made choices, I was thinking like, I would not do that. Why did she do that? And suntan skin and dark hair. That could just be any white guy. But in my head, he had suntan skin. And the girls I seen with tans at that age, they were looking a lot like me. I'm just saying that. Like, they wasn't looking like me. But they were white, but they were dark skinned. You know what I mean? Though I say, I'm fine. What are you doing down here? He sounds less friendly now. Thinking, I tell him, is there a law against that? The truth is, I'm scared out of my mind. My heart is pounding. Suppose he's a crazy, I think. Ugh. I remember just reading this. I don't remember stopping to think like, wow, that's crazy. How can you just say things? How can you just... It really felt like, but no Hugh. Suppose he's a rapist or worse. If he is, I'm in for it. I have to prepare myself. There's no way I'm going to let him take me by surprise. I know what to do. I'll smash his head in with a rock. A rock. I have to find the right rock. I can scan the ground and see a good one. Not 10 feet away. I move towards it slowly, wishing I had my bread knife with me. Girl, you should have took some form of weapon with you. Maybe it's something in that paper bag. No, because I'll be crazy if her mom is letting her walk around with the blicky. But hey, no law against Nicky, he says, except that you're alone. He's probably a junkie. He's probably come to the canyon to shoot up, I think, or trip or just get stoned. Who's climbing down the fucking mountain to get... Do people do that? I don't know. I think drugs and mountain climbing is a very, very bad combo. So, I'm alone, I say, sounding bitch here by the minute. Is there a law against that? I think I really like the cussing. I am standing right in front of the rock now. All I have to do is bend over, pick it up, and wham. No, but that should be, he says. Oh, yeah, why? I'm having trouble following our conversation, but I know it's best to keep him talking. The longer he talks, the less likely he'll attack. I read that somewhere. Who's going to help if you need it? He asked me. That would have sent me into overdrive. I think that's an interesting question coming from him. I keep an eye on the rock. Every muscle in my body is tense and ready to spring into action if necessary. Suppose you trip and fall, he begins. Suppose you do. You're alone too, aren't you? Yes, that's good. Put some fear into him. Let him think that maybe I'm the crazy one. I'm the crazy, waiting to pounce on him in the silence of the canyon. I've had plenty of experience, he says. And how do you know I haven't? Then he laughs. His teeth are very white against his suntan skin. You don't know your ass from your armpit, he says. I really did like the cursing. And see that? His teeth are very white against his suntan skin. I didn't wasn't around much white people. Only my grandma. And she did have white teeth, but the other white people and white men I seen like out and about, they did not have white teeth. Only people I knew who had white teeth were black people. I got that from my grandma. So, they clean. They just stained. Because I was drinking a lot of coffee. And she drank a lot of coffee. His teeth are very white against his suntan skin. suntanned skin. You don't know your ass from your armpit, he says. Elbow, I think. He means elbow. Listen, macho man, I say, looking him in the eye. Buzz off, I sound really tough. Sure you do. When I first read this, macho man, I did not say macho man. I said macho man. So I really didn't think he was white. And I thought she was saying a racial slur to him. I remember that. But all he does is laugh again. Are you always so bitchy? No, I say. Just when I feel like it. So you're new around here, he says. He says this as a statement, not a question. So what if I am? Hey, relax. I'm not going to bite you. All I'm trying to say is that next time, bring a friend. It's safer that way. I don't have any friends. How'd you tell a strange guy this? Find some, he tells me. He bends over and I panic, thinking that he's going for my rock, that he's going to use it on me. But all he does is pick up a handful of stones. He jiggles them around in his hand. And then without looking at me, he says, who are you so pissed off at anyway? The world, I gotta do it like that because the world, I tell him without even thinking about it. I'm surprised by my answer to this question and by the anger in my voice. It is the first time I realize I am not only sad about my father, but angry too. Angry that he had to die, and angry at whoever killed him. I was so mad. I was so mad. I wanted to bite something. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. He sits down on a rock, opens his knapsack, and pulls out a bottle of water. I watch as he takes a swig. I'm so thirsty I can hardly stand it. The inside of my mouth is dried out. My tongue feels thick and furry. Yuck. I will do anything for a drink of water. He must sense this because he looks at me and says, you're thirsty. A little, I tell him, licking my parched lips. You came into the canyon without a water bottle? I forgot it, I lie. It's home. Here. I would have said nope and then still gave it some, but I would have fucked with her. Because why are you snapping at me? Here, he passes his to me. I'm so relieved, I feel like crying. I'm going to take a quick swig, but once it's to my lips, I can't stop. I drink and drink until he takes it from me. Easy, he says, or you'll get sick. That's true. That's true. If you drink too much water when you haven't drank some in a long time, especially after doing something strenuous like climbing down a fucking mountain, a hecking mountain, then you can just fill up and it can just, you go, 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 go. I begin to relax. He's not out to get me after all. What's your name? I asked him. You can call me Wolf. Is that a first name or a last name? Either, he says. Oh, I can't. I can't think of anything else to say. He stands, puts the water bottle back into his knapsack, stretches and says, okay, let's go. Go? I shouldn't have let down my guard. Where? Back up. It's 1 o'clock. I've got an appointment at 2. So, go, I tell him. You're going with me. Really, I say. Yeah, really. Guess again, I say. I'm not about to leave you down here by yourself. I'm not in the mood to be called by search and rescue later. I have other things to do. Search and rescue? Right. I think about the 14-year-old boy who was killed by a falling rock and about the woman who broke her leg and broke her leg and went into shock. And I wonder if Wolf was called in then. But I don't ask him. Instead, I say, I'm tougher than I look. Sure you are. Let's go. I'm in a hurry. How do you know? How do I know I can trust you? You see anybody else you can trust? you see anybody? You see anybody you can trust more? I look around. He begins to walk away. I decide to follow him. He climbs quickly. I try to step exactly where he does. After a while, I ask him if he goes to school around here. He doesn't answer. I say it again, louder. You go to school around here, Wolf? The more you talk, the harder time you're going to have climbing. He says without turning around. Okay, I think. So I'm having trouble keeping up. So I'm breathing hard. So I'm a little out of shape. So what? I don't say any of this. Instead, I watch the muscles in his legs. I notice how brown and smooth the skin on the back is on his back, how his hair hangs just past the nape of his neck, and how narrow his hips are, how strong his arms and shoulders look. I just kept thinking, black, black, black. I don't know. As if he knows what I'm thinking, he turns. What are you doing? Okay, just fine. I told you, I'm tough. I wipe the sweat off my face with the back of my hand. Will turns and begins to climb again. I follow him. He felt her oogling him. I follow him. Then trip on a rock and skin my knee. I feel like crying, but I don't. I would start crying. I have to hurry and catch up with him. He doesn't seem to notice. Finally, we reach the top, and Wolf walks me to my bicycle and then out to the road. I wonder if I will have the strength to ride home. Then I remember that it will be almost all downhill. Wolf leans against a tree, chewing on a piece of grass. Well, thanks, I say. Thanks for the water and the guided tour. He nods. We are both quiet for a moment. Then he says, get yourself a decent pair of boots. Adidas are okay for tennis, but not rock climbing. And next time, bring a water bottle. What's your name? He asks me. As I'm about to pedal away, I think for a moment before answering. When I do, I face him and say, you can call me Tiger. Is that a first name or a last name? He asks. Neither, I say. And this time I do pedal away. And I know that he's watching me, but I don't turn around. I can hear him laughing, and I laugh too. She thinks she's so funny. And she is. Judy Blume is very funny. I liked it that. I liked it that. I remember when I read that, I was like, ooh. I remember. Chapter 10. At home, I gobble up the chicken sandwich Betsy has left for me. Then I take a hot shower. I'm stiff and sore all over, but I feel good. I begin to sing. I sing a song. I sing song after song, glad that no one is home to hear me or see how much hot water I'm using. I shampoo my hair. I scrub between each toe, and all the time I am singing. I think about quitting school and trying for a singing career. I can see it now. My name in lights on the revolving sign outside the Resorts International Hotel and Casino. Inside, the MC announces my debut. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Atlantic City's own Davy Wexler. The drums roll. I step out on stage wearing this long, slinky black dress, slid up one side, my hair flowing down my back, a rose tucked behind my ear. I pick up the microphone and the room gets so quiet you can hear the snap of my fingers as I begin to sing in this husky, sexy voice that is nothing like the soprano I am in. I am in chorus. My mother sits out in front of, at the best table with Jason, Linnea and Hugh sipping champagne. My mother sits out front at the best table with Jason, Linnea, and Hugh, sipping champagne. Across the room at a table by himself is Wolf. I can't take my eyes off him. It seems I am singing every song just for him. And when I finish, the audience goes wild, yelling, encore, encore. I sing two more songs, and after Wolf rushes up to the stage and presents me with a bouquet of roses, dozens of them, pure white. My mother and Jason and Linnea and Hugh are all wondering who this stranger is. This stranger who is obviously so crazy about Davy. And this is why I'm delusional. Chapter 11. While I'm drying off, I began to think about the shower I'd taken on the night of my father. This is what the book is about, right? When I'm drying off, I begin to think about the shower I'd taken on the night my father was killed. I was sandy from the beach, and it was so hot and sticky that even the cool shower didn't help much. The window air conditioner in the living room was on full blast, and in both back bedrooms, fans were running. We had just one small lamp on, though, trying to conserve some energy because the whole East Coast had been warned of a possible brownout. Jason was racing around in his bathing suit and Dracula cape, fighting in an imaginary war with his model airplanes. Wham! Got you! Pow, pow, pow! Got you back! Hurry up, Jason, my mother called. Get into some clothes and our will miss the sale. She was taking Jason to the jean machine. They were running they were running a preseason special on back to school clothes. Davy, will you zip me up? Mom asked, knocking on my bedroom door. I flipped over my Bruce Springsteen tape and danced across the room to the door. Mom, tall, slim, and barefooted, backed into my room. I zipped her white sundress and fastened the little hook on top. She was carrying her sandals and her wet hair hung loose around her shoulders. She smelled of ivory soap and baby powder. My hair was dripping down my back, and I still had only a bath towel wrapped around me while I tried to decide what to put on to go walking with you. That ivory baby powder combo. Better be careful with the baby powder now, because I know back still allegedly giving people cancer. Allegedly. Your nose is peeling again, Mom said. I touched it. I know. Keep it covered with zinc for a couple of days. Give it a chance to clear up. Zinc's disgusting. I'd rather peel. You should be back. We should be back by 10, Mom said, forgetting about my nose, unless we stop for ice cream. But by 11 at the latest. Okay. She checked her watch. It was pink. It was pink gold with a tiny ruby on each side of the face, and a raised crystal and narrow gold linked band. It belonged to my grandmother, who died 15 years ago, before I was born. Mom has had plenty of experience in dealing with death. Her father died when she was still in high school, and her brother died when he was 19. So she named me Davis because there was no one else to carry on her family name. Jason, will you please put something on? Mom said again. She turned back to me. Don't stay out too late. I'd rather have you bring Hugh back here. It's a lot safer than at the beach. Yeah, you might come back with a unplanned pregnancy, teen pregnancy. As soon as Mom and Jason left, I closed the door to my bedroom, and as I got dressed, I chatted with Mika. What have we here, Mika? I said, pulling out my favorite jeans. It's pure physical attraction. Physical attraction. You know what that means? It means it feels good to be near you. Really good. When he holds my hand, my insides flip over. Did you ever feel that way, Mika? Did you see some boy cat? Did some boy cat ever rub up against you and make you feel wonderful? Mika, who had been bathing, looked up. I scratched under her chin, then I put on my new halter. Well, don't worry, I said. It's never too late. Mika gave me a big yawn. I sprayed myself with Charlie, checked myself in the mirror, and ran downstairs to the store to wait for Hugh. I think Charlie's like some kind of cologne or something. I think I've heard of that before. Let me see. Let me see. Searching, searching. Charlie, Charlie perfume. Alright, maybe it's not loading because I have 5%. Charlie. I knew I had seen Charlie before. My mom had some of these. She had, if I remember correctly, she had one of them gold boxes. Like this. Revlon. Edu Toilet. Alright. I sprayed myself with Charlie. I checked myself in the mirror and ran downstairs to the store to wait for Hugh. My father was at his easel, working on a portrait. There were no customers. He had the radio turned to WFLN, the classical music station. Hi, I said, helping myself to a peppermint candy from the glass bowl on the checkout counter. The sign on the bowl said, damn, I don't remember reading this. I probably blocked it out of my mind. The sign on the bowl said, the sign on the bowl read, help the retarded, 2 for a quarter. You know, I used to go to this Chinese convenience store. They sell food, like cooked food, uh, chips and stuff like that. And they had to take a quarter thing. Well, they didn't have to take a quarter thing. They had a donation, donate the quarter to. And, well, they asked me to put it back. And I did. But it was called Help the Needy. But it didn't look like poor kids on it. It looked like, I don't know what it's called nowadays because I don't want to say that. They used to call me that in school. People used to call each other everything in school. What do they call it now? I don't know. But it wasn't given. It was given. That's what they was calling it at my age. Special needs. That's what it was given. Okay, where am I? My father opened the cash register, took out a quarter, and dropped it into the bank behind the box. Then he looked at me. Well, 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 if it isn't Davy Wexler. In the flesh, I said, so I see. He said, eyeing my skimpy halter. I felt my cheeks turn red. I walked behind the counter to where Dad was sitting at his easel and looked over his shoulder. Very nice, I said, especially the eyes. I wish I could draw like you. You can do other things. Oh, yeah, like what? My father pretended to think that over. You are very good at stacking the bread, he said. Thanks a lot. We both laughed. I hung my arms over his shoulders. From behind and rested my face against his hair, which was soft and curly and smelled of salt water. So, where are you off to, Dad asked. Oh, you and I are going out. What time would you be back? I'm not sure. An educated guess. 10, 11, something like that. Stay off the beach. It's not safe at night. I've already had the lecture. I just don't want you to get carried away and forget. It is probably dangerous at the beach, but also she could come back pregnant. I won't, I promise. Well, I can't ask for more than that. Hugh came to the store then, wearing his Grateful Dead and t-shirt and jeans. Hi, everybody, he said. Have you heard the one about the man who gave his cat a bath? Stop, Dad said. I've heard it 24 times from you. Hugh walked up to the counter and took 2 peppermints, dropping a quarter into the bank. Ready? He asked me. Ready. Bye, Dad. See you later. Bye, Dad said. Have a nice time and don't be too late. Don't worry, Mr. Wexler, Hugh said. Outside, the sun was setting. uh, I chapter 12. Stop, I tell myself. Stop thinking about that night. Concentrate on how good it feels to be alive, no matter what. Just to see the color of the sky, to smell the pine trees, to meet a stranger in the canyon. I go to my room, tear a piece of paper from the yellow pad on my dresser, and write one word, alive. And I tear off another piece and write wolf. I get pleasure from seeing my hand form the letters. I write it in all caps, wolf. I write it in all lowercase letters, wolf. I spell it backwards, flow. I'm surprised to find that it spells the word Davy and Wolf, Wolf and Davy. I open the trunk at the foot of the bed and place both pieces of paper inside it, and on the paisley lining. Then I decide to put my Angora sweater set in there too, on top of the papers, and my fisherman's pullover, also the letters from Linnea, which she wrote and mailed on the day we left Atlantic City. And then the bread knife. I've been hiding it under my bed every morning, but if Bitsy decides to vacuum and moves the bed, she'll find it, and that will mean questions. And more questions, better keep them in the trunk during the day and take it out only at night when I might need it. She took the bread knife on a plane. You can't do that shit no more. You can't do that stuff no more. At dinner, Mom asked me how my day was. Very interesting, I tell her. I see Betsy raise her eyebrows. And relaxing, I add, hoping to avoid any questions. How is Cochiti late? Very nice, Mom says. Wexler explained the whole history of the area to us. It's giving energy vampire. I'll bet he did, I think. It's a man-made lake, Jason says, and it's big enough to sail a boat. A small boat, Wexler says. A small boat, Jason repeats. A boat is a boat is a boat is a boat. Let's see how much for the next chapter. Because this one's almost done. Yeah. That's going to have to wait. A small boat, Jason repeats. You missed a nice day, Davy, Bitsy tells me. I hide my smile behind a glass of milk. Later, I sit with Jason on the deck. We snuggle together in one lounge chair, stargazing. The sky is so clear that without any trouble, I can make out the Dipper. I am able to find Cassiopeia too. Only know Orion's belt and the Big Dipper. Come on, man. I noticed that it looks like it's got a little far, but so is life. I'm able to find Cassiopeia too. Walter is so impressed with that he considers my interest in astronomy, that he has given me a book, The Beginner's Guide to Stars and Planets. Look, Jason, I say, there's Cygnus, the swan. Can you make out the neck, the wings? I think so, Jason says, yawning. I want to. Impulsively, I hug him. Watch it, he says. When someone first tried to point out, well, that's it for today. We're going to go 13 onward next time. But when someone first tried to point out the Big Dipper to me, I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it. And they was like, you know what? It was my sister. She says, looks like a ladle. There's 3 dots on the bottom of the spoon part. And then there's one here and one here. And then the handle is 3 dots, but they're not connected. And then I was like, it clicked. Well, anyways, thank you guys for sitting here listening to me read and curse and cry about my life. So, see you guys next time.